The Masters of Wisdom speak on the degree of vision attained by different messengers. The Bridge to Freedom Journal, March 1953. Lord Maha Chohan. Without vision, the people perish. This is a strong statement which embodies a cosmic truth. The vision always precedes the accomplishment, and it is to the men and women of vision that the race owes the impetus for its every forward step on the evolutionary ladder. The power of vision is a God-developed faculty which is not synonymous with sight. Even the animal shares the capacity to see with mankind, but only the consciousness destined for immortality in a God estate may develop and utilize the mystic power of vision. For the few that have the vision of God's design, there are the many who are dependent on their report, fashioning their lives, their religions, their politics on the inspiration of the visionaries of the age. Ascended Master Elmoira. As man purifies the energies of his individual consciousness, he is enabled to perceive the design of the universe more clearly. He is privileged to gaze upon the pattern and form of things to come. He is invited to see the workings of the universal mind of God. In such a man, the spiritual faculty of vision is awakened. Once he has been raised in consciousness into the realms of creative cause, he is imbued with enthusiasm and the positive, joyous delight in the glories that the Father hath prepared for those that love him. Such individuals bring the report of these visions to the consciousness of their lesser-developed brothers and sisters and are wayshowers of the masses, inspiring them by their confidence, instructing them by their knowledge of what is to be, and protecting them from blunders by the constant upward look at the pattern, which only their purer eyes can see, shining in the celestial mind of God. Ascended Master Kuthumi. The development of any faculty is relative. The report of any one of the senses is only as accurate as the sensitivity of the instrument. A master musician is able to detect tones and shadings of which the average man would be blissfully unaware. So also, when the mystical power of vision exalts the consciousness of the neophyte, his description of the celestial sights he has witnessed is a partial truth. The reports of the visionaries of the centuries vary according to the development of the consciousness utilizing the faculty. The wailing of the prophets, the soothing vibrations of the Psalms, the wrath of Jehovah, the love of the Father, all result from the reports of the uplifted vision of individuals whose varying degrees of awareness have resulted in the confusion of the masses and the constant cry of, "Lo here and lo there." Man must not be discouraged from exercising his power of vision. No, nor from enjoying and respecting the reports of the visionary. However, he must be warned that, like the guide on the Mount of Attainment, each new vantage point will yield a new panorama, and all the guides are not at one point at one time. The particular guide whom a number of life streams are following in consciousness will perceive that portion of the path directly concerned with the progress and safety of his charges, and his vision will be sufficient for that group. But there are other groups and other guides so far above them that they look like little specks on the shining apex of the mountain. Ascended Master Venetian. Order is heaven's first law. In the realm of divine mind, everything is perfectly designed, planned, and executed. Truth is. The life streams chosen for their developed spiritual vision to transmute to the people a portion of things as they are, in divine mind, are destined to be the guides of certain members of the human race. Under the direction of members of the Great White Brotherhood, they developed the faculty of spiritual vision to a point where they are able to pierce through the blinding light of God's realm and see, though perhaps dimly, a fragment of the plan which can be incorporated into fact through the cooperation of those life streams which they have been delegated to guide. Grasping this blueprint, they interpret it to their fellow travelers, and bound together by the invisible bond of common interest and complementary vibrations, they set forth on the mystical journey toward individual attainment and cooperative service in the same cause while attaining. Ascended Master Serapis Bey. Be ours the fair vision, the fairer fulfillment. When an individual is privileged to utilize the faculty of vision and witness any portion of the God design, by accepting it into his consciousness, he is obligated by cosmic law to fulfill or externalize that vision in the sphere in which his awakened consciousness dwells. His usual method is to convey his mystic experience to sympathetic life streams, whom he endeavors to interest to the extent of their cooperating with him in the working out of the manifest expression of his vision. The clarity of this inner picture, his remembrance of its details, and the magnetic power of his own life stream will be the predominant factors in the success of his venture, whether it be the founding of a religion or a government, designing a temple or a city, building a boat or a bicycle. Upon the fulfillment of this vision depends his further opportunity to look upon the design for the kingdom. Ascended Master Hilarion. When a life stream achieves the spiritual vision necessary to look upon the very heart of God, such a one becomes imbued with a cosmic desire to externalize the perfection of the Father's will, and is dedicated to a cause which will engage the energies of such a one for perhaps centuries. Thus, when Saint Germain saw the vision of a planet inhabited by God-free beings and accepted that vision into his consciousness, he became responsible through all succeeding lives to convey that vision to his fellow men and imbue them with a like enthusiasm until one day the vision would be fulfilled. During each incarnation, a portion of the blueprint was recorded in the minds of men, up until the present day, when spiritual freedom is an adopted accomplishment in the consciousness of thousands, and it is only unfortunate that the ways and means of achieving it are still blurred by human prejudice. Ascended Master Jesus. We who have seen the glories that are prepared for the unfolding consciousness of mankind rejoice that the vision we endeavored to convey to our followers will before long reveal the truth that all guides upon the Mount of Attainment have reported truly according to their place on the path. Because some of us had already proceeded to a point where access to the fullness of God was more readily attainable, does not change the comforting truth that all roads to aspiration lead to the heart of the eternal. Blessed be every bold and eager son of man who has dared to stand on tiptoe, and through the mist of his own evolving consciousness to look for truth, and in the looking perceives it even dimly. Then, with abiding faith in his vision, he imparts it to his fellow men, and has the courage to set out boldly on the path. Ascended Master Saint Germain. Whose is the greater vision? Only he who has passed through the veil of human incarnation can see and know God face to face. Therefore, the ascended masters who have climbed the Mount of Attainment and ascended to God's presence from its blazing crest can best convey the vision of all truth to men. The long and arduous climb from the base of the mount has been accomplished through the kind and generous assistance of lesser guides who themselves perceived but dimly through the mists of their own consciousness. What appears as the fullness of the cosmic panorama of truth from the 500-foot level is but an infinitesimal portion of the whole as seen from the vantage point of, say, 1,000 feet further on the path. However, without the guide in the swamps at the base of the mount, the soul would never stand on the firm ground where the elevation first begins. Some life streams are content through centuries of evolution with the same guide, who is evolving just a little ahead of his charges and who, his vision growing clearer, is their day star. This is good. Other travelers change guides when their own vision exceeds that of their former preceptor, loving and blessing his light, but attaching themselves to a guide who can see more clearly the path ahead. Finally, the individuals come to a point where their own vision is developed enough to see through the eyes of the masters, and such travelers become the chelas of the liberated host, sharing their vision and accepting the responsibility of making that vision fact through the cooperation of their own life essence, coupled with that of whatsoever members of their race they can imbue with their master's vision, enthusiasm, and light. To those who choose to perceive truth unveiled, the masters come, and through the cosmic lens of their own untrammeled vision, the aspirant may share the divine image of God's plan, stepped down by their mercy to a point where it may be grasped and incorporated into the finite consciousness of the Chela. Thus they have the opportunity of knowing God's will, of working in cooperation with the Brotherhood, and sharing in the vision of the gods before their own power of vision is sufficiently exalted to render this service for themselves and others. The bridge is one way by which we share our vision with our chelas, and they share their life energies with us in cooperative service to the fulfillment of God's divine plan.
Take heed that ye do not vacillate in your determination to embrace the truth of this cause. Eternal